And I want everyone to understand what you're looking at your screen here. This is not a video. This is live. This is actually what is happening live right now near Moscow, right outside that shopping center and concert venue where this occurred. So you can still see some of the flashing lights. But I want everyone to understand that what you're looking at here is live. So it's 2:30 in the morning, and you've got a lot of traffic. You got a lot of cars going by here. And as that picture is zooming in a bit, you can see still the incredible amount of law enforcement and lights outside. Bob, the thing about this, and it is hard to sort of have this conversation and not feel a little odd because we are in the context of a massive war going on, right, in Ukraine. And yet in that context, the United States had told Russia, somehow had communications and told them to expect something like this, intercepting intelligence that was specific and spot on, saying that ISIS was determined to attack inside Russia. And then the U.S. Embassy issued a specific warning last weekend. The embassy is monitoring reports that extremists have imminent plans to target large gatherings in Moscow, to include concerts. And U.S. citizens should be advised to avoid large gatherings. And we understand this was also passed to Russian authorities. I mean, that is as specific and accurate as I've ever seen one of these things to be, Bob.
Oh, indeed it is. I think it's been picked up from chatter. I don't know if it was actionable but if they didn't know where the concert was, the venue, or the time, it would have been nice to have that. The Russians would have paid attention. But the problem is Moscow is a big city. It's very vulnerable. And these attackers, keep in mind, listening to the gunfire, were very disciplined. They were executing people. This was not a pickup team. This is what should worry us, and what should also worry about us is what's happening in Afghanistan. Because if indeed this is the Islamic State of Khorasan, which is Afghanistan, they are regrouping there. And the attack against Iran in January, a suicide bombing in Kandahar and Pakistan, it tells me that they are regrouping.
And that, of course, has massive implications for the United States as well. General, the context here is also the war in Ukraine and Putin's silence tonight. What do you make of his silence? It's Peskov who has come out and said, his spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, that Putin is being briefed. But you have the biggest attack in decades on Moscow, scores dead, and Putin is silent?
Yeah, I'm going to address it in what you just asked Bob, Aaron. You know, the six nations, the six embassies that warned Moscow that this was coming on the 7th of March through classified channels, there's something called a duty to warn. When countries pick up chatter, like Bob just said, on terrorist activities, even if you're giving the information to a foe or a competitor, like Russia is to us, you still have that duty to give that intelligence to their intelligence agency. I would suggest the reason why Putin is being so quiet right now is he's a bit embarrassed. His intelligence agency has received this information. They knew something was going to happen. It was even as specific to say that it could happen in a concert venue, and yet they did nothing about it. As soon as this attack occurred, then other cities in Russia started to pay attention. They shut down a concert in St. Petersburg hours after this started happening. In other cities throughout Moscow, the same thing started happening. So I would guess at least one of the reasons why we haven't heard from Putin is he's a little bit embarrassed that he received information from the West and he didn't act on it.
Yeah, well, it is an incredible moment. And to think, again, what it does mean in the context of the war. Thank you both so very much.